you said, because presidents start with Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, and even Bush today. All of them have tried their best to at least confine the conflict, the Arab-Israeli conflict. And as of today, there is no solution. We may see solutions on papers. You know, I mean, they meet and they negotiate and they all that. But I'm talking about the people. The people
Absolutely.
themselves. We don't see even Egypt.
I was just about to say, this is also sort of, the Palestinian condition is very much tied up to the Arab condition. Mm-hmm. And what has happened in the Arab world, I think, is very important. And I think the Arab condition was made explicit by the U.S. invasion of Iraq. I mean, what showed the actual condition of the Arab world better than the U.S. military going in and invading Iraq, mm-hmm. and really exposing the situation in the Arab world? And, you know, I think what we have in the Arab world today is we have a condition in which we have governments, they're called rentier governments, mm-hmm. who basically, the Gulf states make their money off of oil, so there's no system of taxation, there's no situation in which they have to be accountable to their people. And what we're seeing put in place in places like Lebanon and Egypt, on the other hand, is basically not any different than what we've seen before, which is there is a kind of certain moves that are made mm-hmm. on the part of the leaders of these countries to basically placate mm-hmm. the United States or whatever Western power, but basically don't change the political systems mm-hmm. in these countries. Meanwhile, you have all these schemes. You're absolutely right. I mean, what's driving all of these kinds of solutions are basically, these are business people. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. These aren't really politicians. These are business people, and they come up with these models and these schemes and these plans, and values, meanwhile, mm-hmm. are kicked off to the street. Mm-hmm. Okay.
And who's paying the price? The Palestinians and the Israelis. The citizens are paying the price.
Oh, I think the citizens throughout the entire region are paying the price for this. Although I think also we in the United States are clearly paying for the price for it, literally, in terms of our tax dollars. Yes. But not just that, in terms of the attacks on our democracy mm-hmm. and the constraining of our civil liberties. Mm-hmm. I don't think that it will be possible to continue what I see really going on in the mm-hmm. region today is the war is basically against Arab identity. And this is why I think it's very interesting. Watch and see what will happen in the Palestinian upcoming elections. And let's look at the recent history. The big prohibition was the possibility of Yasser Arafat being elected president again of the Palestinian Authority. Wait and see. You will see the United States government let Hamas participate in the next election as long as they put their guns away. And that is because this U.S. policy is not a policy against Islamic fundamentalism. Are we off now?
Looks like there is a commercial here on TV. Okay, we apologize for this mess. They're going to fix it, so just stay tuned, please. We are live.
Are we still live?
I believe the sound is. Okay. He'll fix it. Go ahead.
Okay. I think what's at stake under the banner of the war on terror, the United States, and who knows what any politician's intentions are. Intentions mm-hmm. are very difficult to read. But what we're seeing happening is that the United States would be very happy with seeing various forms of political sectarianism be put into place in the Middle East. We see that in Lebanon. We see that in Iraq. So I don't think the battle is against Islamic fundamentalism. I think the goal is to create sectarianism. The goal is to wipe out anything pan-Arab. Mm-hmm. Now that's a very dangerous and risky plan because of the various borders issues, which we've already seen in the Iraq War, the ways in which conflict can spill over borders. But I think the United States is content to see sectarianism, political and religious sectarianism take hold in this area of the world, and civil strife, basically, because that's what we're seeing in Iraq. I think the United States would be happy to see, or at least is not going to stop or do anything to aid any kind of stability in Gaza. What do we have right now? We have civil strife.
Okay. I do have some callers on the line. I'm going to take Jimmy. Jimmy, good evening.
Hi, how do you get?
We're doing pretty
Hello.
good.
I have a question for you, but I'll ask that when I'm done here. I wanted to, sorry, I had to turn out my TV.
Okay.
Sometimes you just don't get it right when you first get on. I wanted to ask you about your histories. I'm sure both of you are probably pretty aware of it. And that goes way back from where this all probably began. When the Muslim religion came into being, what was it, about 622 AD? Something like that?
Yes, sir.
And was it not Muhammad that came to Medina to make a peace contract with the Jewish people?
That is correct.
And then through that he says, you know, because they've been oppressed and they've gone through their strife and everything, and Muslim is a relatively new religion, and one thing that's been consistent about history, the new kid on the block gets abused. And he said, I'll protect you and your people if you'll protect me and my people.
That is correct.
Okay?
Yes.
And in the meantime, whether or not it was intended by Muhammad or misunderstood by the Jewish people, it was understood by the Jewish people that Muhammad declared himself the prophet and the Messiah of all the people. And through that, through the strife, the Jewish people actually got over it. Muhammad actually got over it. Never made such a big deal about it, but too many people never got over that. Am I correct?
Well, you know, well, the people have the right to actually accept or deny a prophet or a messenger. It's up to the people. You know, the prophet and the messenger, their job is to convey the message of God. I mean, we have people who who denied Moses, who denied Jesus, and denied Muhammad.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's the deal of it is there's too many extremists in the Middle East that said no, Muhammad's intent was to make sure that all people become Muslim, and that was not the intent of Muhammad. Am I correct?
No. In Islam, in the Holy Quran, there is a verse that says in Arabic, "La ikraha fi din," which means there's no compulsion in the religion. There's no compulsion. You know, in fact, the issue of converting people in Islam is forbidden.
Right. And see, and that is actually the same belief as with me with Christian religion. I love to share my religion, but I don't force it down. No.
Right. We invite people to Islam, but we don't force Islam on people. We have the right to educate who would like to learn about Islam, but we cannot force it.
Can I say something also?
Jimmy, do you have a specific question for the guest?
Yes, I do.
Go ahead.
My question is I think that a lot of the Palestinians, and correct me if you disagree, a lot of the Palestinians' problems is they pick people like Yasser Arafat to represent them, who is himself Egyptian and not Palestinian. Am I correct?
Well, no, Yasser Arafat was Palestinian. His family is from Jerusalem. He was born and raised